Hey everybody, this is Keith here of Euphoria Pictures. Welcome back to my channel. Right folks, so for this video I'm going to be doing my top 10 best looking 4K transfers for 2023, and I had to tell you it was a great year when it came to 4K transfers. As a matter of fact, I was actually looking to do a top 10 of my worst looking 4K transfers for that year, and I could only find around 3 or 4 movies, and even at that they weren't the worst things I have ever seen. So I actually gave up on that video. I can't do it, so that definitely will not be coming, and I think that's a testament to how good 2023 was, and I'm hoping this year will be equally as good. Now bear in mind folks, this is my top 10. There's going to be movies in here that might not be in your top 10. As a matter of fact, there might even be movies missing. Like for instance, Titanic is not going to be in this top 10 because I never picked it up. Titanic is one of them movies I really have to be in the mood to watch, and unfortunately that time hasn't come yet, but I've heard the 4K transfer is quite spectacular on that one. So again folks, bear that in mind when you are watching this top 10. Right folks, so I'm not going to waste any time. Here we go. This is my top 10, and yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Right, so here we go, in at number 10, and I never thought this was ever going to make my top 10. As a matter of fact, I'm sure a lot of you are going to be surprised as well, but there is no denying how beautiful this looks on 4K, and it is The Others. Now, I instantly resented this when I heard that there was no Dolby Vision or HDR. And, you know, that was the director's intent, and who am I to question the director? But I had to tell you, it looks absolutely spectacular. It really does. The movie does have this kind of stylistic look to it. And even without the HDR, you know, the black levels that you're seeing in this, because it is such a dark movie, the black levels never suffer for it. They look beautifully deep and inky, and they do add a great level of depth to that picture. The picture is incredibly sharp. You do get this lovely, consistent level layer of grain as well. It is absolutely beautiful, incredibly sharp. And I think you are going to be pleasantly surprised by this one. But not only that, but it does come with a Dolby Atmos soundtrack, and it sounds absolutely incredible. There's one highlight for me. There's a scene where Nicole Kidman is, she's kind of knitting, and she hears a lot of running going on up above her. And the way that the higher channels actually handle it, the way that the positioning is done, you can just feel the running going across your roof. It is an incredible effect. And I thought it was incredibly done. So yes folks, number 10 is The Others, and like I said, I was very surprised to put it in here, but there is no denying how good this movie looks and sounds on 4K. Right, so in at number 9 I have a Scream Factory title here, and it is My Bloody Valentine. Now when I seen this movie on Blu-ray, it was actually one of those transfers where I questioned whether or not the 4K could possibly improve on it because it looked that good. But when I seen this, wow, it took it a couple of leaps forward over that Blu-ray, even though I thought it was impossible for them to do it. Again, the grain level is beautifully light in this as well, incredibly consistent. The colours are the real star of the show, the Dolby Vision HDR colours. They look absolutely beautiful. Not overly vibrant, just very natural looking, and that's all you want when it comes to a movie like this. But not only that, but the Blu-ray that I actually had of this movie, when you actually see those uncut scenes, you can clearly see that there was a massive dip in quality. I'm not kidding you folks, it was almost like VHS quality. And the way that they cleaned up those uncut scenes, you wouldn't even notice them. They're just seamless. And I thought they'd done such a wonderful job on this 4K transfer. Now it does come with a 2.0 DTS master audio. It's not the most exciting audio you're ever likely to hear, but we are talking about My Bloody Valentine here, and I think for the most part it sounds absolutely fine. So there you have it folks, that is my number 9 pick, My Bloody Valentine. Right, so in at number 8, and I have got Jewel. Now when I reviewed this, I said in my video this was a bit of a no-brainer when it comes to 4K transfers, and there's no way they could possibly screw this one up because if you're aware of the movie, a lot of it is held outdoors, and that means you're getting a lot of natural light, and the way that the 4K transfer handles it is absolutely spectacular. Now you also get Dolby Vision and HDR colours on this as well. It doesn't drastically change things over that previous Blu-ray, but when you see a lot of the landscapes, you'll see that the colours just look a lot more natural now. There's a bit of stability to the colours, particularly when you see the car itself. There's just a brand new bit of vibrancy to those reds. And not only that, but when you see the truck itself, I am not kidding, folks, you can make out every single bit of dent and rust on this truck. It looks absolutely obnoxious. And not only that, but you get a Dolby Atmos soundtrack on this, and it's equally as impressive as the picture quality. Now, I said the truck looks obnoxious in the movie. Well, it sounds obnoxious as well, and the way that the Dolby Atmos handles it is fantastic. I think you're going to be massively impressed by it. So there you have it, folks. That is my number 8 pick, Jewel. Right, so in at number 7, I have got The Nun 2. Now, this is the kind of movie that I love looking at when it comes to 4K, particularly if you have an OLED TV, because this is hands down one of the darkest movies I have ever seen. But it never gets that dark where every bit of detail is removed. The black levels they're just exceptional on this. You're not going to see a better movie in terms of black levels. It really does look that good. And then whenever you do see a bit of colour, there's actually one scene in particular right at the start where you see a priest going up in flames. I am not kidding you. When that scene happens, it will actually blind you. You will be kind of blinking quite a bit. The way that the colours just come out of the darkness is absolutely spectacular. And I was so, I won't say pleasantly surprised by this, because the original movie looked great on 4K. This one definitely takes it a couple of steps further over that one. And you also get a Dolby Atmos soundtrack on this. And I'm always saying it, when it comes to horror movies and Dolby Atmos, they go hand in hand. And this is a very active sounding mix. There is a lot going on. Whether it's your higher channels or your rear speakers, there's always something happening. And I think you'd be impressed by it. So there you have it, folks. That is my number 7 pick, The Nun 2. Right, so in at number 6, and what an eye-opener this movie was, it came from outer space. And the reason to why I'm saying it was an eye-opener is because this was my first time watching the movie, and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was absolutely amazing. But not only that, but it's kind of opened my eyes towards checking out kind of older kind of sci-fi horror movies like this, and I'm currently in the process of doing so. So you'll probably see a few more reviews like this coming up in the near future. But the way that the 4K transfer looks on this is, it's just unbelievable. It has no business to look as good as it does. The black levels, again, are beautifully deep and inky, without any kind of sign of crushing going on. The whites are incredibly bright, without any sign of blooming, which is always a good thing when it comes to black and white movies. And the picture overall just looks incredibly sharp. A beautiful fine level layer of grain as well. Incredibly consistent. It is a spectacular looking 4K disc, and I never thought a movie this old could look as good as it does on 4K. Now, you get a DTS 3.0 audio on this, and it sounds absolutely fine. It sounds exactly how the movie should sound. The dialogue is incredibly clean, no issues whatsoever, no kind of hissing going on, none of that going on. It's a good sounding disc, and an equally impressive 4K picture as well. So there you have it, folks. That is my number 6 pick. It came from outer space. Right, so in at number 5, and I've got Ferris Buellers Day Off, and this is hands down the best looking John Hughes movie you're going to see on 4K. Chances are it's the best you're ever likely to see in terms of future movies from him. And yes, I am looking at you, Breakfast Club, but I don't think they'll be able to accomplish what they accomplished with this 4K transfer with the Breakfast Club, but I'm hoping I'm going to be proven wrong. The only thing you have to concern yourself when it comes to this movie and its transfer is Dolby Vision and HDR, the colours. They look absolutely spectacular. Just look at Ferris Bueller's house. Look at the greenery outside. There's just this added vibrancy to the picture, and it breathes new life into this movie. It looks spectacular. Even Cameron's car, the reds on it, just really, I hate using this word pop, but they do literally pop off the screen. It looks quite amazing. And not only that, but you get a Dolby Atmos soundtrack on this. Now, I did question at the time whether a comedy like this needed Dolby Atmos. It felt like it was a bit of overkill. But my God, how wrong I got that. Just check out the parade scene when he does the twist and shout number. I am not kidding you. It comes out of every single speaker in your sound system. There's just a great sense of presence to that song, and it absolutely blew the socks off me. I was so impressed by it, and that's why it's my number 5 pick. So there you have it, folks. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Right, so in at number 4, and I have got the Equalizer 3, and I'm very surprised by this one. And the reason why I'm saying that is because no one seems to be talking about how good this movie actually looks on 4K. I think the biggest testament I can pay to it is if you're familiar with the first 2 movies and how good they look on 4K, and trust me when I say they're some of the best out there, but somehow this one takes it a couple of steps further. I don't know how Sony managed it, but they did. It is a demo worthy disc. Now, I'm not going to single out one thing when it comes to this movie. Everything that can look great looks great on this. Whether it's the contrast, the brightness to the picture, you know, the black levels, shadow detail, color, everything is demo worthy, and it comes with an equally demo worthy Dolby Atmos soundtrack. It is a fantastic 4K disc. The only thing that's letting it down is I think it's probably the weakest of the three movies, which is a bit of a shame, but I still rather enjoyed it, and that's why it's my number 4 pick, folks. Right, so in at number 3, and I think you've all seen this one coming, it is Oppenheimer. And it was great to finally get around to watching this movie, and finally a movie that actually lived up to the hype. I thought it was absolutely spectacular. I didn't notice the 3 hours pass. That's the biggest testament I can pay to it. And as soon as the movie ended, my fiance turned to me and looked at me and she says, "Well, what did you think of the picture quality?" And I'm not kidding you, folks, this is the words that came out of my mouth. I said it was predictably beautiful. And the reason to why I said that is because we all know how good Christopher Nolan's movies look, whether it's Interstellar, you know, the likes of Tenet, Dunkirk, all demo-worthy discs, and this one is no exception. Is it the best Christopher Nolan movie I've seen? Probably not. I still think the title maybe go to Tenet or Dunkirk. It's definitely between them two. But take nothing away from it, it is a spectacular looking disc. You even get to see some IMAX black and white scenes, and that was kind of eye-catching as well. I would love to see more of that in the future, but there is that come down after you see those IMAX scenes, but take nothing away from it. It's a demo worthy disc. It's flawless, and the only reason to why it's not number one is because it didn't have the surprise factor that the other two movies have, and that's the only reason to why it's not top of my top 10. Now, it does come with a DTS 5.1 audio in this, and that was a bit of an eye opener as well, or an ear opener, if that makes any sense at all. But it sounds absolutely spectacular, and it's mainly down to the score of the movie. It sounds beautiful, it really does. And you know, Christopher Nolan doesn't believe in Dolby Atmos, and when you actually hear this movie, you can understand why he doesn't. So there you go, folks, that is my number 3 pick, Oppenheimer. Right, so in at number 2, and I was so tempted to put this in at number 1, but I couldn't bring myself to do it, and it is Sleepy Hollow. And I am not kidding you, folks, when you stack the 4K disc up against the previous Blu-ray, what you're seeing is a true night and day difference. It's an astronomical difference. The Blu-ray was shocking, and the movie deserves so much better. I've said it countless times, it's my favourite Tim Burton movie, and somehow the 4K transfer elevated this movie for me. It's the most fun I've ever had watching Sleepy Hollow, and it's mainly down to how good it actually looks on this 4K disc. It is perfect. There is no room for improvement. I am not kidding you, folks. It does have a stylistic look to it. It almost looks black and white for the most part, and the only colour that you do have to concern yourself with is red, and when you do see it, there's just this added vibrancy to it. It looks absolutely beautiful. The black levels are just infinite. They're just so deep and black. The best I have ever seen. And the shadow detail, when you throw in that shadow detail in with them black levels, oh my god, it's insane how good it looks. And the one slight downside to it is you get a DTS 5.1 audio. It would have been nice to see a Dolby Atmos or a DTS X, but again, taking nothing away from the audio, it sounds spectacular. It really does. It's a fun, active mix. The dialogue sounds very clean. There is a nice bit of separation with your speakers as well. It's a solid sounding movie, and it is hands down the best the movie has ever looked. And that's why it's my number 2 pick. Right, so in at number 1, and this was a no-brainer for myself. I knew when I was putting this top 10 together, this was always going to be my number 1, and it is The Fugitive. Now, just like my Equalizer 3 and Oppenheimer, I'm not going to single out one single thing when it comes to this movie. Everything looks perfect, demo-worthy. And just like my previous movie, Sleepy Hollow, when you stack this up against the previous Blu-ray, which looks absolutely atrocious, it truly is a night and day difference. And I remember when I reviewed this, I think the biggest testament I could pay to it is it actually looks modern. The 4K transfer looks that good. I'm not kidding you, folks. It looks like it was shot today. And I have to give credit when credit's due to Warner Brothers. I don't know how you've managed to do it, but what you've accomplished with this 4K disc is something rather special. And if you're a fan of this movie, you need to pick this one up. It does come with a Dolby Atmos soundtrack, and surprise, surprise, it is demo worthy as well. It is hands down the best the movie has ever looked and sounded, and this is a must for your 4K collection, and that's why it's my #1 pick. So there you have it, folks. That is my top 10, and like I said, what a great year it was for 4K, and I would love to see more of that now this year. So yeah, fingers crossed it's going to be a good year. So there you have it, folks. So as per usual, if you did like what you see here, please do give it a thumbs up, and if you could do, leave a comment down below, and please do share your thoughts on the 10 that I picked here. And yeah, I hope to see you all again real soon with my next video. Until then, I'll see you soon. Bye bye.